Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Camille Nash, and welcome to the bullpen. So, listen, if you've been on this journey with me for any length of time, and if you're new, I say welcome. I have developed this brand new affinity for whales. It was birthed out of me sharing my story of overcoming rage, abuse, and unforgiveness. So, in the midst of it all, I've been in a number of rooms, boardrooms, courtrooms, social media rooms, hearing all of this clamor, if you will, of conversation with men, trying to tell men how women should conduct themselves, and women attempting to tell men how they should conduct themselves. So I thought, why not create a space where I can bring men from all around the world in all walks of life, whether it be ministry, vocationally, or occupationally in business. So in the bullpen, we talk everything media, ministry, music in some cases, and we talk about the importance of hearing from men. We're talking about mental health. We're also even looking at what does that look like. So when I think media, when I think music, when I think ministry and the marketplace, I thought about this gentleman that's from my hometown, and my goodness, his resume is so long, and yet he's still so very humble. Who better to talk about this great resignation that we've all encountered after what I like to call the pandemic? Who better to bring to the platform that understands the importance of mental health for our men and appreciates the mentality behind it all, where he brings the mental health and film making and creating. And that is where I say, welcome to the bullpen, where we talk mentality and film colliding. That being said, allow me to present to some and introduce to others, none other than my new homie, Mike Berry. Let's welcome him to the platform.
How you doing? How you doing, Camille?
Hey there, Mike. How are you?
Oh, I'm well. I'm well. I'm blessed.
Well, so am I. And I got to tell you, while this may be our very first encounter this way, anyway, I've seen you in many different places and spaces. A lot of the same people we know. I am from Cleveland, born and raised. None of that's important, but no, that is important.
That is important.
You
Yeah,
know
it
the
is.
things they try to say about us, which really don't matter. I like to say you can say whatever you want to say about the lake, but there's a lot of great things that come from that very same place. And I'll leave it at that. You have really just been not only a trailblazer, but just really remarkable in standing firm for the importance of what our men need, especially when I say our, I mean with putting an emphasis on our Black men, because we need it, and we don't have to apologize for it, because there is a place and space where there needs to be that level of intensity. I always like to say,
Right.
we need to put our attention, if it's a fire burning, our attention should be on the
On the
fire.
fire.
If
Correct.
that's where the fire is, that's really where our focus and attention should be. So without further ado, if you don't mind, of course, I could read your bio because it's very lengthy. Um, would you mind telling our audience a little bit about Mike Berry?
My name is Mike Berry. I am a filmmaker, author, motivational speaker,
Yes,
and a mental health advocate.
yes,
So,
yes.
in short,
So in short, you're a filmmaker, and creating film is not an easy feat. Even though some people think that it might be easy, or it might not be all encompassing. But
mhm.
in order to do it well, what I talk a lot about here in the bullpen about being transparent, about not sugarcoating it. And because, like I said, it is a place where men can hear from other men, because that is our audience.
Right.
A lot of my demographics for men and for women range anywhere from 18 up to 75, they tell me.
Mhm.
So, what I would like to do is just talk a little bit about, not make it so heavy with the mental health. We'll get into that. But I
Mhm.
want to hear a little bit about Mike, a little bit about the early Mike, and how you were able to come to this place of discovery, and finding this part of your calling, which I do believe it is. So let's talk a little bit about the early years for Mike. What was that like?
Okay. Well, I've always been in entertainment in some form or fashion. Like even just growing up in my neighborhood, I was rapping and making CDs and handing that out.
Mhm.
But I think my purpose was revealed to me kind of like my calling. I did 7 years in prison. When I was 19, I came home, I was 26. And when I came home, I said, I'm about to be a rapper. Everybody wanted to be a rapper. And I had some success in rapping. I had 2 top 100 albums. I was unsigned and toured with MTV. I went all over the country. I did these things. And so I thought I wanted to be a rapper. But while I was rapping, I was severely depressed. And at this time, I didn't even know what depression was. I never even heard it. I attributed it to anxiety from getting out of prison. You know what I mean? I had this culture shift because I kind of walked out of prison and bam, I went straight to work. And it was like a dark time. I'm on tour, but severely depressed. So I was trying to juggle this. I used to put on this mask when I got on stage, or I could do my thing. As soon as I got off stage, I didn't even go to the after parties. I went straight to sleep and slept for 12 hours sometimes. And so I did that for a while and fell into a very severe depression. I kind of pulled back from that, and I published a book. And then I started doing these things, and I used to think that I was the only person in the world, especially a man, who was depressed. I didn't know anybody who was depressed. I never even heard the word. It wasn't even a word yet to me. I didn't know I was depressed. I just thought I was sad, but depression wasn't a word. And one day I ran into this girl, and she said she was on medication. I said, for what? She said she deals with depression. I said, what's that? And she explained it, and it was exactly what I was dealing with. And it's like something just clicked in me, and I knew I wasn't the only person who felt this way. And it just started this slow progression towards, because I've always been able to be very transparent, always, my whole life. And I said, you know what? I'm about to do things that can help other people who feel like me, because now I realize I'm not the only person in the world who feel this way.
Yeah.
And so I started speaking out on it on social media. I just started doing all these different things to bring awareness to mental health. And mental health, although it's occupied my mind for a long time, 25 years, I've been dealing with anxiety and depression on some level. And this morning, and right this very second, my anxiety is on 120, and that is no lie. But I'm pushing through because this is something that I have to do. And so I just try to serve as an idea that no matter what you're going through, you might feel depressed, but you're not depression. So I've done some great things, and I have never, in 25 years, I haven't been 85%. And that's a fact. Wow. The best I've been is 85% of my 100%, but it doesn't stop me. And so I try to just spread that message.
So I think that's really mighty when you look at there was something within you. So you still were able to overcome, rise above, a sentence, being imprisoned for a season, and during that time, there was a lot of deposits made in you, whether they were good or indifferent, but you were still able to take those experiences and make a decision around what the next step looked like. So that's a win. Those are major wins in itself. When I hear you talk about depression, a lot of our culture over the years has never really been to address it, to talk about mental health. And I liken it to not just maybe because we didn't want to, I liken it to we didn't know how. And it was more of a taboo topic, primarily because financially, many of our people weren't able to pay for it. If we just talk straight, we talk straight here in the bullpen, Mike.
Okay.
So I don't believe in the whole watering down not only dialogue but information that's going to help change our lives. We need people to talk to us straight. So when you look at what you've been able to do, I love your transparency. I thought I really loved it before, but now I really like it because you even said how you're feeling right now, and many of us won't even own how we feel in a particular moment. And we want to just brush it under the rug. You were able to take the vicissitudes of life, the challenges behind choices, and make different choices in your life where you are now. When I say film and mental health collide, how have you been able? Well, let's start with how did you find or discover film, or how did film discover you or find you?
Again, I was a rapper, and because I spent a lot of time in prison. Now,
Mike, were you good?
I was good. I had a couple top 100 albums.
Okay.
So back in the day, 27, 28 was old for a rapper. Now it's not. You can be, you know how it is now.
Right.
but I needed something that would give me the longest possible shelf life. So becoming a filmmaker, it didn't find me. It was a business decision.
Mm.
I've always been a creative, and I needed something that would allow me to be creative for a long time. And literally sat still and kept thinking, what can I do that'll allow me to? Because I'm a manipulator of words. I can speak them, I can write, whatever. If they words, that's my gift. And I was like, what can I do that'll allow me to do that? And nobody ever gonna question my age. And one day I was like, I'm gonna make movies. It
Okay.
was a business decision. And so, little quick story, I met this girl on Facebook and I was like, let's go out on a date. So we go out on a date. And while we out on a date, I said, what do you do for yourself? She said, I sell insurance. But on the side, I'm a casting director. I said, what's that? She told me what it was. And I
Right.
said, that's funny because I want to be a filmmaker. Let's make a short film. We made this cheesy short film. I said, let's make another one. We made 3 short films. And she was like, well, we just can't keep doing this. Ain't no what's in it. I said, I tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna take these 3 short films, we're gonna put them together, kind of like though it was a movie, a horror movie where it was like 3 short films,
Oh, right.
Tales
Okay.
of the Crypt. And I
Oh.
said, we're gonna put it in the theater. And she was like, who gonna come see it? And we sold 672 tickets at $25 a piece. I remember it like yesterday. That was in 2012. And from that day forward, we stopped dating. And I was like, because I just knew that
Mhm.
she had this purpose in my life, and she my business partner today. And that was 2011 when I met her, and
Right.
she's my business partner to this day. And we've done 10 movies, whether we produced, wrote, directed, we've done some great work together. We still got a lot of work to do,
Yeah.
but I use those. It's funny because making
Mm.
those movies was detrimental because it was great that I was doing these things, but it also allowed me to hide from what I was dealing with because I was able to be immersed in the project of making a movie. And I
Yeah.
didn't have to do the work of dealing with my feelings because I could
Right.
shrink my feelings and
Mm-hmm.
and dig into this project.
Right.
And it just so happens that this year I've done 10 movies that I didn't shoot a movie because although I've done a lot of things, it came with tremendous personal sacrifice. Too great for me. I didn't have to do it that way, but I did it that way and it's over with, but it's a better way that I could have did it. I didn't face a lot of the things that I should have faced. I kind of like put my head down and like bulldozed over them, but
Mm-hmm.
they was hanging on my back, kind of like a football player. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so yeah, I just needed to reroute what I was doing, what I am doing, because I know what the purpose is and what the mission is.
Right.
But I feel like the universe, God is speaking to me and saying it's a different way you got to go about it
Mm-hmm.
because burying it in movies every year is not it either. You know?
So let's dig into that a little bit. When you say that, and I know that it comes with great sacrifice, right? A lot
Yep.
of times, anything great that we do, we can't do it alone. We
Yep.
need other people, whether we
Yep.
want to acknowledge we need other people or not. I always say this: unless you're a twin or born multiple in a multiple birth, we might come here
Yep.
alone, but we can't do anything alone.
No.
So you need the gifts and talents that are in other people to help
Yep.
foster and bring it all together. It's just like our bodies are made up of many members, but they're all different.
Yep.
Um, so when you say that it was a huge sacrifice for you, I know that that comes in many different areas or many different ways. When we're talking about mental health, I know you're probably talking finances, at the risk relationships, and amongst other things. Of all of that you encountered, what is it that we could pull out when we look at the mental health capacity of it or the sacrifice of mental health?
For me personally, when I say it came with tremendous cost, is because I could deal with mental health. I've been able to deal with it and overcome. I've proven that. But what
Hmm.
I didn't do was I was unable to create meaningful relationships. And I'm
Hmm.
talking about me and a female. I
Okay.
could do good business relationships, but I that was something. I don't need a woman. Nobody needs anybody. But I know for a fact that a woman was put here for me and I for her. And so
Hmm.
I feel like denying myself that and hiding it under the grind. I'm too busy for a relationship. I'm
That's
too
real.
busy. I felt like I was cheating on the gift. I felt like you don't want it bad enough, because if you wanted it bad enough, you wouldn't be out hanging out shooting pool on a Saturday night. Well, the grind gonna be there on Sunday morning. This really how I was thinking.
Right.
And I it was like I look up and be like, man, I ain't been in a relationship. I'm just keeping it a buck. I ain't been in a relationship since 2015, and I'm a eligible guy. And no,
Right.
for real. But it's just, but I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it until this year. It just one day, just like things is revealed to us, it was revealed to me like this ain't it. Like this not the way. This not what I know. I got it in me, but I feel like for me personally, I felt like if I were to include somebody in that I was gonna somehow hurt them, because I was gonna bleed on somebody who didn't cut me.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like I felt like I'm not abusive, or I rarely drink, I don't smoke, but I just felt like, man, is she really gonna deal with how I feel sometimes? Even when I don't want to feel like this, it is just the nature of the beast. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then I say, well, who am I to question? Because I'm not a dumper. You know what I mean? So I look at TV and I be like, man, this person, he deal with depression, and he been married 25 years.
Of course.
How can he do it and I can't? But I felt like that I felt that way. And I was, for a long time, I dealt with what's called imposter syndrome. I've done all these great things, but I felt like I faked it. Like I was a fake. And somehow this girl was gonna find out, whoever she was, and the whole world was gonna find out I'm not a real filmmaker, even though I've been on Stars, I've been on Hulu, I've been Dish Network, I've been everywhere. But I felt like a fake. Like I faked this whole decade of work I did. All these, I done keynoted so many places. It was all a lie. I didn't really do that.
Wow.
And so I had to deal with that. I didn't even know what that was till I heard Ryan Coogler say it. And he did Wakanda. I was like, wow, you really, you thought you was, so I felt like, damn, I can't include nobody in that. But then again, I felt like, man, like now I feel like, dang, opening up to somebody who can accept me will allow me to accept me. Like, I don't know. So I out of all the sacrifice, that is the hard work and the late nights, that had to be done, because there's no other way. But I just feel like when I say it came with tremendous personal cost, I just feel like I tuned a lot of things out that are part of the natural order of life. It's part of the order. And I just upset that order for no apparent reason, like, if that makes sense to you.
So would you say that, no, absolutely makes sense to me. So it sounds to me like what I'm hearing, you're saying some of it was at a personal loss because of not you being afraid to look at what was in front of you, but more or less not wanting to look at that, or not allowing your heart to go to that head, or heart or head to go to that space where you figured if I just keep my head to the grind, and because I'm constantly doing something, that gives
Yep.
me an excuse and reason to do that,
That's
versus exploring more about life, relationships, people. There's
yep.
people that live with spouses that have PTSD from the military. There's
Exactly.
after effects of it, and it does
Yep.
take special people. It takes
Yeah.
special people.
Yeah,
Uh,
it do.
but a greater part of that, one of the items I want to pull out of what you said, it's kind of a buzzword for me right now, because I don't really per se agree with it, but I know that some people believe it, an imposter syndrome. And did I lose you? And a part of the what happened? What happened? Did I lose you?
My phone was ringing. I was cutting my phone off.
Okay. And a part of the so I don't believe in the imposter syndrome, because to me that is about comparison. And when you compare anything, especially with people, you lose sight of what you were really called to do, because you're trying to compare yourself with someone else. So when we talk about you feeling that way, or having those moments of imposter syndrome, if you will, or not really willing to look at yourself in a full glass mirror, because you were, but you really were kind of running from you. You were running from yourself to a degree. What I want to ask you though is, what was the turning point for you? You said it happened this year. I'm sure you've talked to a lot of really wonderful and powerful people that maybe even operate in the mental health space. What was the
Yeah.
turning
It's funny because, you talk to counselors,
point? Hmm.
you go to groups, but sometimes you just sitting on the couch,
Hmm.
and I was sitting on the couch, and it's like I was riding up the street and I felt like I could see everything. Like I could see everything. I still remember it. I was
Okay.
riding up the street and I was on Kinsman.
Hmm.
I noticed everything, every can,
Hmm.
every in a way I can't even explain. It was a visceral feeling where I could just feel everything all at once. I wasn't overloaded with any type of emotion. I just felt like for some reason at that exact moment I had cleaned my glasses off. That's how, and I could see. And then it just didn't stop. Like I went home and I was like, Dad, what is this feeling? And it just seemed like every thought that I failed to think because it was my brain thinking it.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like it came in front of me and I could see it. Like, Mike, you're not doing this.
Right.
Mike, you're not doing that. Mike, why are you these things that I didn't even think about for like a long time? They was just in my view. And I just knew. I was like, man, you know, what is the rest of my life gonna look like?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
and it was the strangest feeling. It was so clear to me, these
Hmm.
things about everything about my kids, like just
Yeah.
everything
Right.
was just in front of me in a way that I hadn't felt it in a long time. And I was just like, I had to sit down and say, what am I gonna do for the rest of my life? I know what the calling is. I
Hmm.
know, but it's a lot of other things outside of the calling that I
Yeah.
want to do. So
Yeah.
this year, man, I took a couple trips. I went to Mexico.
Okay.
I'm going out of town again next weekend.
Hmm.
This is for me.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? This is for
That's
me.
right.
Yeah, like, and just really, really bonding with me. You know what I'm saying? And I feel, just being transparent again, prepare myself for my person.
Yeah.
Cause everybody got a
Yeah.
person. I know
Mhm.
I got a person. I was married
Right.
before, so you know what I'm saying? But for
Yeah.
some reason, I was in such a tunnel vision, and that
Hmm.
tunnel vision just gave me the push I need to just shut it down and be like, it's all about the grind. I'm not doing nothing if it ain't got to do with the grind. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I didn't have a responsibility that I knew I should have, you
Yeah.
know. So it was easy to just stay clear of anything that was going to allow me to feel anything I didn't feel like feeling.
Hmm. It sounds to me like you had definitely an awakening to some
Yeah.
degree,
Yeah.
because one aspect of it, as I'm listening to you describe it, on one level, I feel like, because it sounds like, because you're a writer, because you're a director, directors have proclivities to see everything in the room. They
Yeah.
see things other people don't. They're able to
Mhm.
describe that can city over there in the corner that's a
Yep.
red white
Yep.
letters on it, and exactly how it's supposed to sit. But it sounds to me like you had what they call, and what we call in psychology, an awakening to some degree.
Hmm.
And part of it was and is a discovery for you, self discovery for what else is there in my life that I want.
That's
Because this
it.
whole time you've been running from you. You've
Yep.
been
That's
running
it.
from you.
Yeah.
You've been running from you the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah.
So when we look at film, what do you believe film does for mental health? What does it do for the mind of an individual? What do you believe film does?
I'm an avid TV watcher.
Yeah.
Man, listen, I sit at home all day and watch movies. So for me, it gives me an escape. It allows me to, it relaxes me because I watch comedy, I watch drama, I watch horror, I watch sci-fi. I watch it as a filmmaker, I watch it as just a regular patron. And it allows me to just escape for a minute to wherever I want to go. If I want to
Mhm.
watch the Avengers, I can go there.
Yeah.
I try to stay away from like super sad stuff though. Like I don't really like seeing movies about human trafficking, and I don't
Mhm.
know though. I just don't want that. You know what I mean? Because I love my kids so much. I don't want to see. Um, I will watch some mental health movies depending on, you
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
how it is. I mean, I made one. So
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
me, film just, it relaxes me. It's
Yeah.
my favorite thing to do is watch TV. Like,
Is it hard to watch film or TV or plays? Is it hard to watch it in more of a consumer way
yeah.
versus a director and writer? Is it hard to do that, or do you have to turn something off?
Yeah, I got better at it. But my eyes scan corner to corner. Like when I watch a movie, I'm looking, that's bad lighting. I love the way they did that set design. Then I get back to the story.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'd be like, that was a horrible jump cut. And I try to do the best I can. And it's crazy because I talk to my friends about it. And then they'll call me and be like, man, I can't even watch a movie the same. Now that
Right.
you done told me about, to look for this, you told me watch this.
Right. Well, that's still wonderful. When you think about how film has changed over the years. I mean, you've been doing this now for, has it been, how many years has it been
10
for you?
years. 10
10
years.
years. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're probably doing it long before that. It's
Oh,
been
yeah,
10
yeah.
years where it's actually official in a
Yeah.
professional
Yeah.
capacity.
Yeah.
When you think about men and mental health, what do you believe is the greatest quandary for a man, and even a black man, particularly when it comes to facing or addressing mental health issues?
I feel like as a man, we not supposed to show weakness. We
Hmm.
not supposed to be vulnerable. We're not supposed I can't go cry on my boy's shoulder.
Why
This is
not?
I,
Why?
well, I not in the way that you can.
Okay.
But this is just, I can, because I'm just like that. But a lot of men will never admit to another man. It took me a while because I always been like the go-to guy in my circle. So it was hard to tell my friends, like, bro, I feel way weaker than I used to feel. Like I'm a shell of that guy. This is when I first was feeling with depression. It was so pressing
Hmm.
until one of my friends was like, man, what's wrong with you? I'm like, ain't nothing wrong with me. He's like, yes, it is. And it's crazy. Like, I was like, why did you say that? He's like, oh no, it's just in your face. He just knew me. We was friends. We've been friends 35 years. And so I just think a lot of men feel they got to rough it out. I feel like a lot of men feel the most I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it to God. I'm gonna take it to Jesus. And I do believe that's something that needs to be done. But I also feel like I'm gonna trust God for everything. I'm gonna trust Him for nothing. I'm gonna trust the doctor too, because I trust the doctor for my kidneys, my eyesight, my back, my stomach. So I would not trust him for this. I mean, it don't make no sense to me. But
Hmm.
I just feel like men are asked to just be super strong. But I think times is changing, and a
Yeah.
lot of men are understanding it's okay to be vulnerable, especially if you have somebody who provides a safe space, because that's very
Mhm.
important
Very
to a
important.
man. Like, because I'm already putting myself kind of out there.
Right. Right.
And,
Right.
once I feel like it's a safe space, man, I could really just empty it and just get these thoughts out to somebody. If you don't want to go see a therapist,
Yeah.
I'm with a therapist. So, I'm with that. But
Right.
every man isn't. So
Mhm.
society tells them, man, just take it to the pastor. This pastor's side job. He's not a psychologist. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not a psychologist.
Exactly. And many pastors are dealing with their own plethora
Yeah.
problems
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
drama. Now, I'm definitely a firm believer. I have a couple therapists on speed dial that I
Yeah.
need Jesus and therapy, and
Yeah. You need them both. Yeah, there you go.
I need both of them on the
Yeah.
regular.
Yeah.
When it comes to men, though, so because you're in therapy and you understand it, I understand it. Counseling and things like that. Therapy, in my opinion, is a self-discovery journey because
Yeah, it
a
is.
real therapist is not going to tell you how to live your life, what you ought
Mm-hmm.
to be doing. You better be doing this or you better be doing
Yeah.
that. A real therapist is not going to do that. They're going to help you unpack and help you dig around or excavate your challenges, your
Mm-hmm.
issues.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to instruct you to a degree or in such a way to figure it out, find out solutions of your own.
That's
Why
right.
you have kids, when you tell your kids to do something and it
Right.
doesn't work out, they're gonna say, "You told me to do it." So
Yep.
it's the same philosophy when it comes to therapy because the therapist, I like to say, it's like a mental massage but there's still some trust involved, and that trust begins with yourself.
Yeah.
And you're definitely going to have those moments of going back and forth. When it comes to men, those men that will go back and listen to the content or to the show, whether that be the video, the live broadcast, or even in the podcast form, some men will still shy away from therapy, Mike.
They will.
They will still say, ah, no, man, I'm not going to do that. What small piece of advice would you give them of something that they can do practical to at least allow their heart to be released, and even heart to be heard, even if they don't necessarily have someone as a safe place to land?
Well, a couple things, mindfulness, doing some meditation, and just trying to relax and be grateful. But sometimes, it's hard to outthink the thing that does the thinking. So,
Mhm.
when sometimes in your mind is just in this place and you trying to tell it to stop, it's hard to do that. But the thing that worked for me is journaling. But I'm not a journaler. I don't like writing. It take too long. So I got a voice recorder.
Okay.
So at night, I talk to the voice recorder and I can say everything,
Yeah.
like, and it feel like I'm talking to a person, because I could just be like, man, today was crazy. This lady walked in the gym. She did da 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 da. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, Mike, why would you? I'm like really getting it out. And I can keep it in my pocket because I pulled it out in the car. And it just allows me to kind of empty at the time if I can't get somebody who I can talk to on the phone.
Hmm.
It allows me to just kind of vent, because you had these things going on in your head, and I'm an artist, so it's like constantly shaking because I overthink anyway, because I'm just artistic. My brain be going, and
Yeah.
so that's like a good thing for me was that voice record. I tried to, I started out writing, but it was just such a task. I said, and I got a voice recorder, and that's what I've been doing. It's sitting right there on that table, so
It's waiting for you.
waiting on me, yeah. But or find a buddy you can talk to,
Hmm.
find a friend you can talk to, and 'cause I can talk to my friends like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been able to help even people that are very close to you, some of your friends that may be men, on their help on their journey of mental health? Have you been able to help them navigate those waters?
I have, but
What-
I'm a very matter of fact and a very,
No.
listen to me. It is the way it is, what it is.
Yeah.
People gonna like, and we not gonna keep talking about nothing if you're not prepared to do some solutions. Cause then I'm gonna feel like you dumping on me. So if you call me
Mm,
and okay, I know how you feel, whoopty whoop whoop whoop. Now what?
right.
I just wanted to tell you that. All right. And you just 6 months, like, bro, I'm not a therapist. I'm not. I'm not a therapist. I don't know how to play in your head. It's some people out here who are very good at,
Hmm.
this is what I tell my friends. I
Yeah.
can help you get to the leaf of the problem, maybe the twig, at best the branch. I can give you somebody who can help you get to the root of the problem. I don't know how to do that. They do. The reason I know is because when I talk to my therapist, before you know it, I remember thinking like, man, I'm paying this money. I'm just talking until she starts, and it was a she, telling me things I didn't
Right.
even realize I said
Yeah.
that happened eons ago that directly tie into my behavior.
Mm.
And so when I talk to my friends, like, bro, I'm gonna tell you, and God is my witness, go talk to a therapist 5 times and then don't go back. But go 5 times, I guarantee you're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Because they know you what you can't do, and this is what I did, and most people, you make yourself your doctor. You make yourself your doctor, and when
Self.
you make yourself your doctor, the diagnosis is always going to be the same. It's the boss's fault. It's my girlfriend's fault. It's the neighbor's fault. That's always going to be, oh, I
Right.
know why you suffer from that, because it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, the only common denominator with all of these things is me. And
Mhm.
so if you can't reflect that way, you're going I think when people talk to a professional, I feel like they more likely to take your word for it than mine's. So I said,
Mhm.
man, go talk to a doctor. Because
Mhm.
if I say it, I'm not a professional. I'm just
Yeah.
giving you my perspective. But I'm telling you, bro, these people, not you won't bond with all of them. So you got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet. Go to
You should.
one, don't like it, go to another one. Don't like it, go to another one until you
Yeah.
find the one for you. I remember I take medication right now,
Mm-hmm.
and people I argue about that. People like, why would you do that? I said, man, listen, I drugged myself through 25 years, literally
Mm.
drug myself through 25 years like I was pulling a bus. Like, but I
Mm.
did it. I
Wow.
did it. But
Wow.
I was like, I don't want to do that no more. I'm a wobbly table. I just need a prop up. Now, if you don't, I get that. That's a personal decision. But how
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, or I felt, and this was like 3 years ago, I started taking medication. I feel like if I could get to a steady place, I can fix it better. I could, but man, that was
Mm-hmm.
23 years. I don't even know how I did it. I think back, I did it. If I wasn't purposed, if I didn't feel like the universe was calling me, I would have been gone. Because I
Right.
didn't count it to two more than a few times.
Mm-hmm.
But I was clear of the totality of three. I clearly knew what that was, but it was this thing in me. Like, I remember I said, Mike, if you don't feel better in 365 days, you're gonna commit suicide. I clearly remember this day.
Wow.
That 365 days went so fast. It
Mm.
was 7 days left when I looked on the calendar, and I had it marked on the calendar 360. And I remember saying, well, dang, I can't lie. I feel a little better. I'm
Mm.
going to give it 30 more days. I gave it 30 more days, and I was like, I still don't feel fixed because I want it to be fixed. I'm going to give it 7 more days. 7 more days came, and I was like, man, I'm not going to lie. I feel a little better. I'm going to give it one more day. Next day came, I was like, I don't feel no worse, but I'm going to give it one more day until it 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 wasn't the same despair.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like those
Yeah.
first years, I was living in it. I was suicidal for some years. I'm
Wow.
talking about years. The only thing that kept me going was my unselfish need to provide for my friends. When I was rapping, I was hot, and a contract was like imminent. And I used to say, I just need to get this check. I need to get this big check to provide for my friends, and I'm done. That's it. I'm checking out. I can't do it. And that it just never came. Some other, and for some reason, I was like, now I got kids. I wrote
Yeah.
a book. I just need to get this big check because I'm ready to go. I
So,
was
so
ready to go.
you're
Like,
preparing to leave, and you just want one big something to come, so everybody that's attached to you is blessed, and
you
they
know
have.
why?
Oh,
The reason I fought so hard, I had a friend of mine, his name is Eric Richardson. And I was like, man, I'm doing all these things, and it's just not happening. Like I felt like everything I was doing, I felt cursed. Like everything I did, it was
wow.
almost time for the check. When the check writer was finna write me the check, he had a heart attack. That's how I felt like. And I remember he told me, and
Mm.
this is one of the strongest things I go with today. He said, Mike, I'm so confident that your dream is gonna be realized. That if it's not, everything I know about God and the universe is a lie. That's what he told me. I
Wow.
was like, how could I leave when it's somebody like that?
Right, right,
You
right,
feel
right.
me?
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
when I
Sure.
do a movie and 2,000 people come, how
Right.
could I leave
Yes.
that? Like, and so I was just like, no, I can't do that. And plus I never want to dump at my kids' feet
Mm-hmm.
my pain. What if my
Yeah.
kids be depressed? What
Right.
if my daughter be? I just can't. No, I just can't do it. So I was like, you got to take this one for the team, buddy. Hell or high water, you got to take it for the team.
So,
It,
so Mike, I want to go back to what you said about because this piece right here is so pivotal because we are all interfacing with somebody right now that's even in that mode where you were.
yeah.
Like, what would you say if you had to pinpoint? I mean, you've got this happening for you where you're using that as motivation, encouragement to stay alive, if you will. If I can just
Mm-hmm.
put it candidly like that, that's your motivation to stay alive, to
Yeah.
continue to press. But what about those people that are interfacing with someone that really is on the brink of where you were, what are some telltale signs? Like, what are some things that some of us could look for that we can see? Oh no, like you said, your guy friend, your friend said to you, "Man, you're depressed. You need to go talk to somebody." But that means that you must have been at a really low point.
Yeah.
There are people among us that don't show that.
Yeah.
So, what are
Um,
telltale signs for us?
yeah, like of course, like not doing things you know that they usually do, like they no longer find happiness in anything. Like, you
Hmm.
know, like if somebody's been upbeat long as you know them, and then
Hmm.
all of a sudden they just, you know, got this negative disposition, pessimistic, you know, okay, that's just one thing. And, you know, I feel like multiple things probably got to overlap.
Yeah.
And if maybe they struggling at work,
Mhm.
they struggling to keep up with stuff that they usually on top of, maybe the bills, their
Right,
appearance,
right,
they
right, right.
sleeping all day.
Mhm.
They have these, and I got a friend that's going through this. They
Yeah.
had these like grandiose thoughts, like bro, you hear yourself, man, like almost like I'm about to sell my house and go buy some farmland in Texas and hit strike oil, get rid, you know what I mean? Like these things where
Outlandish. Mhm.
it's so far out there.
Edge.
And you know, that's a tough thing to go to people and say, you know, are you okay? Because people are smiling, and who usually asks a smiling face, are you okay? You know, people, it's easy to heal what people reveal, but it's a lot of people out here smiling, and
Yeah.
I can't see it. I can't see it because they don't want to be like Debbie Downer, so they stay smiling. But I can't explain this. I can feel it sometimes. Like I was with one of my friends. Well, I ain't gonna say a friend, associate from jail. He had got out. I ran into him,
Mhm.
and I felt like he looked like I felt. And I was like, "Hey man, how you
Mm.
feeling?" He's like, "I'm good. I'm good. I've been out like 6 months." I'm like, "No, no. How you
How you
feeling?"
feel
He
things.
just we stared at each other for about 10 seconds, and he told me in plain English, like, "Bro, I'm
Mm.
struggling. I feel like killing my all of this. I couldn't. It was crazy because I said, "Dag, this must be the look I had when my friend said he saw it in my
Mhm.
face."
Mhm.
And so, you know, I just I say look for multiple signs, like things that overlap. You know, where it's so far out of their character, and you know, we got to question it.
Right. Well, you have to question it. So, when your friend mentioned it to you, were you very responsive or were you resistant at first when he
No,
brought
because so we was at the gym and he snapped on me about a month ago in a way I've never heard. We've been going to gym together 8 years. I never
like
heard him talk like,
this year, like a month ago this year?
yeah, this like right now. I never
Okay.
heard him talk like this.
Okay.
Never. So about a week later, he snapped on me again. So I shot him a text. It was like, hey bro, I I I'ma dismiss it, but I never heard you talk
Mm.
like that. I never heard you talk to me or anybody like that. You the most calmest guy I ever met. Something not right. This is what I told him. He was like, I'm good. So he blew it off. But then I noticed when we was at the gym, he would ramble like severely. And I was like, hey, bro, you all over the place, man. He'd be like, he was just very antsy. And
Mhm.
then about a week ago, he was like, man, my wife, my sister, and a lady from the church who don't interact with each other like that, they all said the same thing you said. And so
Wow.
he actually had 2 sessions with a psych,
What a
you know,
therapist.
psych, whoever. And oops, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And he was like, you know, I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. I was like, yeah, bro, because this just not the behavior I'm used to from you. But
Mhm.
even now, I can still see it, but I feel encouraged because he took
Getting
he
help.
took that yeah, he took that step to
Mm.
to to get some help because you know, if you don't, you rewire your thinking. So I rewired my thinking to
Mhm.
protect myself from this perceived threat. So I tell people like I built this wall that was ankle high. And then when people start doing things, it was knee high, chest high. And before you know it, when I start feeling better, the wall was higher than I was. Now I can't even see.
Ah, yeah. That's a good illustration. That's a very
Yeah.
good illustration.
And
Yeah.
I tell people like this. when you build these walls, because sometimes we are going to build walls to protect ourselves, you got to think of it like a castle. The castle is designed to keep people out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
When they built it, they didn't think if somebody set it on fire, we're going to be trapped in here. So you got to have some little trap door that'll allow you to escape if need be from yourself, from this wall you built. You got to get back out. And
Yeah.
and this wall I built is where I'm at right now. Now that I'm ready to, okay, I'm ready. Now I turn around and boom, I ran right into this wall that I built. And these people who love me, these people who accept me for me, these people who want to support me, they on the other side. Now but boom, I gotta just knock it down. And it won't come down in one fell swoop. I gotta chip it, and be patient. Cause that's frustrating that the wall won't just come all the way down. But I just gotta keep working on it and chipping it down. That's exactly how I feel.
Chisel, little by little. And
Yep.
really, when we look at that in contrast to what even you have been able to accomplish as a filmmaker, you really had to give yourself even grace with that, because that didn't just happen overnight. That took time to develop, to allow you to not only cultivate relationships, but also fine tune your craft. So when we look at the mental health capacity of what your journey's been like, even with your actually lifestyle of being a filmmaker. What do you think now in today's environment when it comes to how we consume film and or media? What's the how is the contrast? What do you think now about like Hulu and like Netflix and not just traditional media anymore, from news to film, Hollywood films, but even a lot more independent filmmakers? How do you what do you think now about the life of how we consume media today?
Yeah, we want media fast and we want a lot of it.
Yeah.
We want we want a big menu, but we only gonna pick certain things off. It's like going to a restaurant. You can stare at that menu all you want. You know you're getting the wings and fries. You you can stare at it all you want. You know what you're gonna get already. So
True.
they bombard us with all these things, and that's why I just say Instagram. Instagram shoots you the same things. The
Mhm.
things that you actually put energy into, they send you all of those.
Right.
So that lets you know the same. But believe it or not, that's what you consume. If
Yeah.
you on IG ratchet, IG is gonna send you ratchet, and when
Right.
you go to Tubi, you're gonna watch ratchet.
Ratchet.
You gonna look for it. You know what
True.
I'm saying? So you
Right.
got to be careful what you feed yourself,
Yeah.
because the powers that be will force feed you more of that. And if you're not feeding yourself healthy stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll look at some videos sometimes just to get a kick out of it, but I know how the algorithm works. They're gonna keep sending it to me.
Right.
So if I look at positive stuff, they're gonna keep sending me positive stuff. When
Right.
I jump on YouTube, automatically positive stuff come to my
Yeah.
YouTube. When I
True.
go on Tubi, automatically positive titles pop up, because all those people work together. They buy you and they sell you.
Mm-hmm.
That
Say that. My goodness. Mm-hmm. They buy
it's a
you.
documentary called The Social Dilemma, where they actually
Yeah.
break that down. They literally sell you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you talk about a Ford, type of something about a Ford on IG and watch
Yeah.
how many Ford commercials come to your YouTube, to your
Yeah.
IG, to your commercials on whatever you streaming. So I just believe like you have to be careful of what you ingest, not
Yeah.
what they try to make you ingest. You got to purposely
Yeah.
ingest these things so that the algorithm can feed you more of that. Or
Mm.
before you know it, you being programmed with something you really don't even want.
Exactly. And I personally, because I know that's how they work, I'll go look at something that I do want to see. And when they make recommendations, I don't look at those. Even if I go and put it in the search myself that I do want to see something that they just showed, I
Mm-hmm.
don't click the recommendations,
Yep.
because the recommendations do follow you. When it comes to film writing, I'm just going to ask you a couple questions. What's your favorite film and why?
The Godfather,
Why?
that writing, the writing,
Writing.
that
Yeah.
writing is crazy.
Yeah.
I like writing. I like the words of a movie. I don't care about Fast and the Furious, none of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the words. When people say things, I'll be like, man, did you hear the words that this person wrote? Like, even past the acting is good. It's an
Yeah.
extension of it. But man, like when something is well written
Hmm.
and it can just touch you, oh my gosh, like Godfather, man, I don't know. That writing, it's a lot of movies,
Yeah.
but that writing is amazing. It's
That's one of your favorite of all time. A
yeah.
young person listening to you right now, young person from Cleveland, anywhere in the country, in the world that's listening, they could be under 12 or whatever age it may be, just a young person that thinks that this is not even come close to being possible for them. What would you encourage them to do right now today if they believe that film is something they really like to explore more?
Well, if you want to be a filmmaker, I would encourage anybody to um, understand that if you go to a Sunday paper and you look in the classifieds, you never gonna see filmmaker. Filmmaker is not a job; it's a calling. It's a roller coaster ride of emotion, and it is not for the faint of heart. It anyone can make a movie, but everybody can't make a movie. It's such a daunting task. But anything is possible. And so if this is what you want to do, just find that courage in yourself because it's gonna be a lot of people telling you what you can't do. A lot of people told me what I can't do. You can't do that. Even when I was going to film school, like you a third month, you've been in, your second quarter. You talking about putting something in the theater? I sure am. So you got to be you got to have vision, not just sight but vision, and you got to have an unwavering belief that the impossible is possible because what you want to do is impossible. It's impossible. It was impossible for me to get on Stars. And I just was sitting in a prison cell and I just was suicidal with a gun to my head. And I was molested as a kid. And I this and I that. It was impossible. But I did it. It was impossible to make 2 movies or 3. I did 10. It was impossible to go on the other side of the country and somebody recognize me. That's not possible, but I did it. But I believed I could do it. I just felt called. I felt like this is what I'm supposed to do, and I did it. And I did it with unwavering faith. With a level of faith that sometimes I I trip because again I was dealing with these things. So I had my passion. I knew that the universe would reward me for my effort, not how I felt. So I felt like trash, but my work ethic was so great. I knew I would be rewarded by God and by the universe because positivity that's not gonna get you anywhere. Effort, you need effort. Go positive some snow out your driveway in the wintertime. You got to go out there and shovel it. So I wasn't sitting at home just saying what I wanted. I was actually out here doing it, and I gotta say it's been a blessing so far.
Well, that is just incredible. You said the positive is not going to move the snow. That
Nope. You got
that is something else. My goodness, it sure isn't. Mike, what's the lesson that took you the longest to learn?
the lesson that took me longest um
Longest to learn.
that I don't know everything.
Mm,
You know, just that I don't know everything.
mhm.
That other people's ideas are useful too.
Yes,
When
indeed.
you have that mindset, and I know I'm gifted. I know it. In a very humble way, I know it.
Yeah.
Things come to me easy, but things come to other people hard. But some of the things that come to him is useful. And I got to be able to listen to other people's ideas and know when his idea supersedes mine. Like that's a better idea. I just can't do mine just because I can. That was a great idea. I'm gonna do that. It took me a while because I was just an artist and I was sensitive. So you don't like my idea? Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's like saying you don't like my idea. I had to get over that.
So good. Mike, this has been really a powerful conversation. It certainly has been my privilege and um, delight to sit with you, to talk with you, to hear from you in this way. What's next for you? What's coming up? What you up to?
Um, I'm actually thinking about shooting a Christmas movie. It's a urban take on a Christmas story. It's a comedy, but it's about a gangbanger who gets shot in a drive-by.
Okay.
And the ghost of Christmas, that that ghost that leads him around.
Uh-huh.
If
Yeah, yeah.
if I don't know if you ever saw Snowfall, but the uncle on Snowfall, he's like he a OG, like, but he's funny, and he's basically telling this guy about the thing, like in A Christmas Story, how he's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
his
yeah.
faith, his family, and all that. You giving all that up to be a gang member, drug dealer, that type of thing. So, but it's really funny. So that's on my mind. But more importantly, just to come up out the box, because I'm in a big box, but it's still a box. So come up out that and just live life more
Yeah.
free, but still do what I'm supposed to do. So what's next for me is just continuing the path that I'm being asked to be on, but understanding that it's a much larger world than I've created for myself. It's even bigger, and I'm a thinker. It's bigger than that. It's vast. And so, yeah, I'm going to live in that.
All right. Well, again, I say thank you and I salute you and everything that you're doing. We're going to continue following you and staying glued in, tapped in with whatever you have going on. You all go out, be sure to keep tuned in to Mike and everything that he has going on. And we're sending you lots of love, lots of good energy. And we know that your best is you're just getting started. Your best is still yet to come and you're just getting started. So
Look, I
again,
say this real quick.
yes, sir.
I need everybody to go to either Tubi TV or Amazon Prime and watch A State of Mind, Mind, A State of Mind with Elise Neal. That's about mental health. That is the most important movie I've done so far. It is an amazing movie. So watch A State of Mind. And you can also watch Grace and Mercy, which is a faith-based film. It's on
Okay.
Amazon Prime and Tubi as well. So either one of those.
Okay, so both of those are on Amazon Prime and Tubi.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So tell them again the name of both those movies. We'll make sure we add it to the end.
A State of Mind, and Grace and Mercy. Grace and then the and sign, Grace and Mercy.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll be the first to be checking that out later
Okay.
today. Certainly this week, you've got my interest peaked now, so I'll definitely be, I'll find myself there to look at those, and I hope you all have been able to find something mighty from that. My wealth theory for today, my goodness, wasn't that powerful? If you're a filmmaker and you're really believing that that's the call on your life, I love what he said about the film making is not for the faint at heart, and you're definitely not going to find that description anywhere as far as a job description that is. So I want to just implore you that anything is possible. You're able to find and see that from Mike and answering the call to your calling. I mean, everybody has a gift that's inside them and something that only you have been gifted to this world to do. There might be many other people doing what you do, but none of them can do it like you do it. You have got to have an unwavering faith in whatever it is that you believe you've been called to do. So that's going to do it for this episode of The Bullpen. I do want to remind you to go on over to, we now have a private Facebook group for The Bullpen. That way you can stay connected and stay abreast of whatever is coming down the pike, as well as all of our guests that are past and those that are forthcoming. So, again, we will see you on the very next episode of The Bullpen. Good night.